one.
Hello and welcome to the Filter Free Podcast.
There we go. I took the dirtiest poop earlier.
Unfortunately, those guys are not here. It's just me. We're here to do Wrestling Rewrite. I'm joined tonight by James Quello. Later on, Mike Kolb will be here. What happened? What had happened is he went out on the town with I believe with his wife. I could be wrong on that. And they're still stuck. Yeah, they're still. Well, he's still stuck in town. He will be here eventually. So, with tonight's show being mostly a tutorial, so I've gotten a lot of questions about how to, if you download a mod, how do you get it to actually come onto the game? I thought I'd go through that with everybody today. I will actually go through the inner workings of the game and all that stuff, and then we'll go through the guidelines, the rules, and how this competition is going to work. It's going to be a ton of fun. So I think we should get started. So I have joined. I went ahead and shared my screen. So here's my TEW screen. So when you download a mod, which I always go to TEWDB.com, they have all the mods there that we're going to use for this show. The first one, of course, TNA 04. It doesn't say TNA 04. It's Ruthless Aggression, because you can play as any company or make up your own. It's just we're picking TNA in 2004. So once you select a mod, you download it, right? You'll get the little icon in the top of the browser window. It says your file is downloaded. So you download it, you move it into a folder. So if you go here to your Windows C drive, you'll see here the program files 86 folder. That is the folder Grey Dog makes for the gaming software. So you open that up, go to the folder named GDS, TEW 2020, and then there you see here there's a folder called Databases. So all you will do in that download window you have with your 2004 database in it, you're going to just slide it over here inside the database folder. You don't have to rename it. It's 2004 RA. All the you could rename it something different if you want. You don't have to. All the companies, belts, wrestlers, so on and so forth will be in this folder. Now the second half of this is when you download a mod. It's not necessary, but it's highly recommended that you also download the pictures file, the graphics file that is associated with it. So when you download that, all you do is you come back here to the pictures window, pictures folder, and it goes in there. So now it says my database name _GFX graphics folder. That's all it is. So we now have our mods. Remember, that's TEWDB.com for all of our mods. So now I have my mods and my graphics in my folder. I'm now going to go to my icon here for the game. Always remember, you have to right-click it. Oh boy, what did I do? You have to right-click it and pick Run as Administrator. Otherwise, you won't be able to do anything. So here's the game. So now I'm going to go to DB, that's databases. And then you see I have a 1998 database. I have a 2004 database and the default. So the reason why these mods exist is the default database is made up. They obviously they don't have the licenses for all of these wrestlers and gimmicks and companies and so far and so forth. So their default database is junk. I mean, it's not junk. It's made up. That's why we have to download our own databases. So I'm going to make sure the 2004 one's highlighted yellow and pick use this database. So now, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go here to this fourth icon down under the DB icon. There's like a screwdriver and a wrench icon. I'm going to click on that. So this is all the details for the mod I just downloaded. So what I'm going to do now, the only thing I'm going to change is I'm going to make sure the graphics folder that I've downloaded for this mod is actually in play, is actually being used for this mod. So I'm going to go down here to the bottom. The second choice from the left, database details. I'm going to click on that. And you can see a choice here for pictures folder. So I'm going to make sure that my picture, my graphics package I just downloaded for the mod is actually selected. So I need to pick 2004 RA GFX. I'm going to select that, and I'm going to press save. So now I have my proper database and my proper graphics file. So, and that's all we need to do. We're ready to start now. So before we get started, I can see a handful of people are here that are going to be playing this game. With all you guys that are here, are there any questions about how to download anything or install anything before we go? Because this show you can play from behind. Next week's show, we're going to be a month in to the save. So after next week's show, there's no more jumping in. So before we go any farther, any viewers out there, any questions, type them in the chat, and I'll make sure to address them before we go any further. I'll give you guys a couple minutes on that. James, how are you this evening?
I am fantastic. I have just downloaded the Ruthless Aggression mod myself, and I'm excited to put it in there.
So they really have some great mods, and it's going to make for some fun shows coming up in the future. Because again, this iteration of it, we're doing TNA04. It's going to last. I mean, it's going to be a couple months. I think. Let me go back to the details here of the show. I should probably write this down on my computer so I can actually display it. So we're doing every 2 weeks, we're going to do a new show. Every new show, we're going to cover 3 months. And we're gonna do 2 years all together in the save. And at the end of that, we will see who has the most popularity, who has the most money, so far and so forth. Give up prizes accordingly. Ed Prather, I'm trying to figure out how to put the mods in. Be more specific than that. I need to know where I need to start showing you how to do it. Did you already download it? Do you have it in the folder? Are you trying to install the graphics? I need to be a little bit more specific. Again, we're not going to leave you behind. So we're gonna get you to the promised land. I'm not going to stay here till midnight, but that'll be your homework assignment for tonight. I ain't doing that. So I was telling James before we started the show tonight that, as you guys know, I used to drink. John just downloaded October 22. What does that mean?
I think you downloaded the first one. So, Ed, you have
the update.
Oh, okay.
Download the update, the game update. So, all you have to do is take that. Here's what I do. When you open, let me get my folder open back up here. Here's what I do. So right here is my icon for the game. Right. All I do is remove this out of the folder and put it on my desktop. And then I take the new downloaded update and put it in the folder. And every time I download a new update, I just keep cycling that through. In case something with the new update crashes, I have the previous one. So all you need to do, take your download of the new patch that you downloaded and just remove this TEW file, and then just take it to your desktop and replace the new one in there, and you should be fine. Get that done, and we'll continue from there. So I was telling James before we started the night that some of you that watch Filter Free Podcast or listen to it, we've done two live shows now, which is I think the most we've done in the previous 6 months. But
we hadn't done one in so long, and then it was like, hey, let's do a live show tonight. It'd be fun. And
it was so fun, and we had such good interaction. We're like, the hell with it, let's do it again. So I used to drink a chocolate peanut butter cup stout called Sweet Baby Jesus on the show. Well, tonight I wanted to try a new one, and it's fantastic, by the way. It's from Wild Rose Brewery. It's the flavor is peanut butter porter with cocoa nibs.
Mm-hmm.
And the name of the beer, These Nuts. Fantastic. And it is phenomenal. Look in your local liquor stores for These Nuts. That's fun to say.
Dave's going to have a field day with that.
Yes. I'm going to make sure he buys some. I'm not the most computer literate person. Ed, we're getting old, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Although I have to say, like, as you being the person guiding them through, with Kolb not being here, is kind of funny in a way because
Yes.
you have to
Yeah,
understand
I'm
people. TJ is
playing-
not also the most computer literate,
No.
and he figured it out. So I'm going to give him credit.
No, I am playing the part of Mike Kolb right now. He would be doing all this normally. He's actually want to turn me on to this. So I've been playing this since what year is 2022? So I think it was like the summer of 2020 when I started playing this. And I've been hooked. And I just want you guys to know this first game, load we do, game save we do with TNA 04. We're not going to get super serious into like cutthroat stuff and, super duper incredible prizes or nothing like that, because it takes so many saves to really figure out your formula for success for your company and who you want and who's good for your locker room. And you guys have no idea. If you never played this before, you have no idea how much is into this game. TV deals, pay-per-view deals, popularity, not just for your wrestlers, for your company. Who do you bring in? Are they a positive backstage influence? Are they a negative backstage influence? If they're a negative backstage influence and they're so over that I'm willing to put up with it, they can actually gang wrestlers up and start turning them against your locker room. I've seen it happen. So
that's crazy.
Actually, in a practice save I did for TN04, I hired Scott Hall, which I found out was a mistake because he just turned the entire locker room against who was it? I think it was Shane Douglas. No, it was Chris Candido, because I hired Chris Candido to be one of my prospects, and he turned the entire locker room against Chris Candido.
Oh my god. The game is so real that it's hilarious, and the people that have been playing it, TJ and some others that from the old TGT, the OG showed TGT, if you will, still playing it today, and they're still on like 17 different saves. Somebody's in 2050, by the way. Henry, I think.
Henry Everingham. I would say Henry Everingham, because that is when I started playing. Was when I was still doing Tap Guy Theater back in the day, and Henry Everingham took this thing and ran with it. And I bet you the one he's got in 2050 is probably still the original one.
It is.
Yeah.
He does he does meticulously, like year by year. It's crazy.
So what happens to me, unfortunately, is I will start playing. Ed, let us know how you're doing, by the way. Don't just leave us hanging here. Otherwise, I'll be talking all night. So what happens with me is I'll start a game save, and again, they have so many databases available. Again, there's one you can start in 1905 with Hackenschmidt and whoever the guy who fought was the world title. And I'll be sitting here doing one, and then in my head I'm like, oh, I wonder if I signed them back in these days and did the same thing. So then I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna go back and play 92. Who was Boober?
Does not miss a show though.
He doesn't. God bless you, Boober. I always liked boobs.
Downloading the graphic package. All right.
Never let me know. Very good, Ed.
That's a good sign.
Never let me. Yeah, very good, Ed. So then I'll like. Well, I remember I was playing 04.
Yeah.
And I think John Tenta was still available somewhere. I mean, his status was substantially down. His popularity was down. But I was like, man, I want to go rebook Earthquake. So then I started a new game save from 1992.
The addiction is real, folks. The addiction is real.
Oh, it is. We might be getting a run-in from Mike Kolb via phone. He's apparently stuck in traffic somewhere. I'm betting he went to Chicago.
No, he wouldn't do that.
And it's pretty windy up here. Plus, well, he's on the Chicago side.
No,
he's on the Chicago side of town. And what I mean by that is Notre Dame is in South Bend tonight, but that's on the other side of where I live. So he's on that side. I mean, are the Blackhawks in town this week? I'm not even sure. or the Bulls?
The Bulls played the other night in Boston, so I don't know if they're in town.
Because I know that the World Series. I was watching the World Series before we started the show tonight. Seems to be another gangbuster getting ready to happen there in Game 6. The only hit up to the point where I stopped watching, which Chas McCormick had just broken his bat and launched his barrel over the head of Zach Wheeler. It was Trey Mancini had the one hit of the game, and he got picked off at second on a fielder's choice.
Jesus Christ.
So Framber Valdez, at least earlier in the show, in the game, Framber Valdez and Zach Wheeler are dealing right now. I really hope I love it when World Series go to Game 7. And I don't know why, because I think I'm over the Astros cheating scandal. But I still want Philly to win. I think it's because it's been so long for them. As a Cubs fan, like I feel for them.
I could see why. I think that if they win, though, it's good for baseball if the Phillies win. To be honest, in my opinion.
Yes. Well, Philly, I can say a lot of shit for the Philly fan base of all sports.
Oh Jesus!
But they're a great baseball town. Oh, there he is, man of the hour. Mike Kolb, live from his Tesla.
Man of the hour, my ass. I'm sorry, buddy. Sorry to everybody that I'm not in front of my computer.
What are you doing out there anyway in Chicago? You in Chicago?
Yeah, I'm on my way home from Chicago. I'm going over the Skyway right now. You know what that is. But.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
How's traffic?
Non-existent.
So right now, really on a Saturday?
Non-existent. I'm leaving the city. Non-existent.
Wow. So right now,
holy freaking hell.
We are guiding. Oh my God.
You're looking at the same thing I am.
We just got the show art for next week's show, and my Lord. Anyway, so right now we're guiding Ed Prather specifically how to download the database pictures, all that stuff. I'm getting ready to take them how to access the database, make sure your pictures folder is in. Frank Bruno's here. Is there anything else we need to go over before we head into the save itself? Anything you wanted to cover with TNA 04?
Not on TNA 04. You're already going over how to install the packs and the pictures and set the database to be able to see the pictures. So I think you're good there. That's the hardest part of this whole thing.
Yes, it is. But I mean, once you do that the first time, you'll know how to do it.
I have to give TJ credit though, Cole, because you've missed this. TJ explained it, and he explained it in a way that most people should get, and I'm kind of proud of him.
I mean, color me surprised.
Yeah,
a computer, no less.
Yeah, it's fun that you'd think like, oh, an electrician should know how to speak technical terms. I don't. I don't.
No offense, not a fucking clue.
Nope.
Love it.
So, while we're waiting, Ed Prather's not told us how he's doing. Other than he's down on the graphics package.
That did take a while though. So,
yeah, especially when you're Ed Prather and you have DSL internet. So,
no, because I just did the same thing and it took me freaking forever.
I downloaded the 92 package, graphics package, with using my phone as a hotspot because I'm in a trailer at work and it gets terrible reception, and it took 31 minutes.
The graphics package, so downloading the graphics package was easy to the computer. Once you unzip it and go to install it, that's where all the time is wasted.
See, I was the other way.
Hey, TJ, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Where is this being broadcast to right now?
Patreon,
on YouTube, and Twitch.
And who all is watching? Like, do we have a total viewer count right now? Is there a ton of people? Just the few that you mentioned? What are we talking about?
We got a handful. We got 4.
We got this Boober person who we still don't know who it is.
He's been on all of our shows though, so I can't be mad at him. Or her. I don't even know who it is.
Last show it did say it was a girl.
Oh,
love it. Breaking news: Logan Paul tore his ACL at Crown Jewel.
Wow.
Yeah.
ACL and MCL. Sorry. Separately, I'm going to kind of let a little squeaker in. We're going to assume Dave in the QC is not watching, right? Listening?
No,
he is.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
So I'm going to need Mr. James Quello to write a note for the show on Tuesday because I'm going to forget to text TJ, and I know Quello will remember.
Got it.
This is already several weeks old.
Yeah, so Quello, I need you to just make sure during your recording, you have to wait till you're recording, and then somehow work in there to direct Dave to go to daveintheqc.com.
It's phenomenal.
And you can go to it right now to see what he's going to see.
Oh, I'm totally going to do it, but I'm
going right now. Ed, since you asked, we are here with men of the year. Dave is eating French fries fried in duck fat. He sent me a picture of it. So that's what Dave's doing right now. Him and his wife are on a date night.
I mean, I'd be dipping my French fries somewhere else if I was with his wife on a date night. But that's fine.
Dang.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's going to do that anyway.
Of course.
Much to her dismay.
This man. Some people have gotten to hang out with Dave, and for the most part, if you've done the Sweet Life with us, it's Dave. Pretty close to Dave. But I've been with Dave on a very personal level, like just him and I and Timmy hanging out somewhere, and yeah, that man's a savage.
Speaking of other men's wives, TJ was wrong. I'm not driving the Tesla. I'm currently in TJ's wife's van.
Nice. The Odyssey. Very good.
Oh, we're definitely going on an Odyssey. 20,000 leagues tonight, brother.
As long as you kick in for the oil change, I'm good.
How's Eddie doing on the graphics pack?
Still down. He's got DSL, bro. Like, it's going to take a day and a half.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Well, how's Frank Bruno doing on the graphics pack?
Frank Bruno hasn't told us.
Well, he could be busy doing other things.
Frank Bruno. Let's just cut to the chase. Frank Bruno, are you ready to play this game? Do you have everything downloaded? Do you have the picture pack in? Because you know what? I'm not going to start this game just to have Frank go, oh, I forgot to download the graphics package. Well, it's too late now, brother. All right, we're moved on. Again, next week's or 2 weeks from today's show is the cutoff. I'm just watching. You coward. Play.
That's what she said.
Coward. You know what? When we tell him who he has to be, because we're going to give the players 3 choices of who to be, who you can be to be the owner from TNA. I can give you 2 of them. One's a wild card, so we're going to leave that a mystery. So right now, you can either be Jeff Jarrett, obviously, Dixie Carter, a little surprise run-in, a little earlier than normal, or there's a wild card. Actually, there's 2. There's 2 wild cards.
Well, I have a 3rd wild card.
Okay.
His name's Tony Khan because he's presently running TNA in 2007, just in 2022.
Very nice. Well done, sir. And, Frank Bruno is such a nice guy. He won't want to pick any of those choices because he won't want to hurt the other person's feelings. So, come on, man. Get in the game, Frank. Get in the contest. Let's do this. We're all getting in on it. Everyone's doing it.
Everyone's doing it, bro.
Everyone's doing it. As soon as Ed is done down with the graphics package, we can stop doing unscripted riff going on 25 minutes now.
Be one of the cool kids, man. Yeah. Whoever this is, Kaz.
What's up, Kaz? Are you gonna play the game? Are you in?
Sounds like he's in.
He said, yeah, he sounds like he's all in. Nudge. So
about that.
Yeah. So I don't watch TNA or not. Well, of course, no one watches TNA. I don't watch AEW anymore. I did at the beginning. I did it every week. I was religious with it at the beginning. I don't watch anymore. Have I missed anything?
No.
Yeah, Jeff Jarrett is all elite.
Yeah, what I did see that clip, and this is not a knock on Double J. God bless him. Like, do what you can while you can. But what is his purpose?
Well, so his actual purpose is to be to work on live events.
So what he was doing in WWE.
Yeah, so that's his actual job. But because Tony needs live action figures to play with, he has Jeff Jarrett as also an on-camera role, doing his last outlaw thing that he's been doing on the indies.
So is he going to be an in-ring talent or a manager? Because I bring him in as a manager in a minute. Maybe do like a one-off match. I'm not going to bring him as a wrestler.
Supposedly he's going to be a talent, not like a permanent full-time talent, but a talent
like Sting.
Yeah,
occasional.
Where he's going to be kind of doing like a manager. I don't know if he's going to be doing the manager's role because they haven't fleshed that part out of who he'd be managing, but I'm assuming that's where they're going with it.
Which is a role that you can assign someone in TW 2020. Occasional. They compete occasionally. All back to the
if Tony Khan's smart, which he's not, he puts Jarrett. Jarrett's not allowed to compete on Dynamite. He competes on Revolution only, or what? Not Revolution, whatever the Rampage. Yeah, Rampage only, and works with the young talent and helps build the young talent. Don't put him in any fucking meaningful storyline. Let him build the young talent, but he won't. He'll put him on Dynamite. He'll be fucking wrestling Sting at All Out fucking 2027, and it is what it is.
The world has been demanding 50s,
60s Sting. Kaz, we're gonna need you. We're gonna need you to reveal your identity. Just tell us. You don't have to tell everyone else. Just tell us. We won't show it on the screen because we will be airing this afterwards on our Patreon network.
JJ is still a better worker than those people.
100%. So I just interviewed little bit on the DL here with a handful of friends here. I just interviewed Al Snow for PW Mania.
Nice.
And we talked about
I am a complete stranger.
Well, he didn't say I just said I am complete stranger. I am Chubb. So we talked about Ric Flair's last match because he was there.
Yeah.
And I'm not one to, so I've had like 8 or 9 interviews now with PWMA that have been published. There's still one more to come. Ray Lynn has not dropped yet, and then my Al Snow one, of course. But I don't change the wording of my questions to make me look different. Like exactly how I said it is exactly how I transcribe it and answer it, how they answer it, and so forth. So we got to Ric Flair's last match, and I said, what did you think of Ric Flair's last match? I go specifically with Ric Flair being 73, and I don't remember what I said in the interim, but after that I said, well, he's 73, and Al cut me off so I didn't get to finish the rest of my question. He cut me off and he said, so what? He's 73, and he gave this big, long, eloquent answer of why it was phenomenal. But when you read my interview without the context of the question, it's like I'm a huge dick. Like I was dumping on Flair. I wasn't.
Right.
I wasn't. I was going to say he was 73, but he worked better than most 25-year-olds today. But I didn't get to finish it. So Al was just... Al Snow, by the way, that dude has so much shit coming up that I cannot wait for. It'll all come out in the interview. I'm not going to spoil that here. It's all going to come out in the interview. And what just a great wrestling conversationalist Al Snow is. Great talk. Probably and I've had a lot of fun. Like my TSF interview just dropped. Two great kids, and I'm old enough to where I can call them kids now. They're the next tag team waiting to become stars. Rosario Grillo and Dustin Knott. Ray Lynn was great. All of them were great. Fun, energetic, very interesting perspectives. Al Snow is on another level. to be fair, to be completely fair, and again, I didn't go into the obvious realm of the things I should have asked Bill DeMott because it's not what the interview was about. But Bill DeMott was a great wrestling conversationalist.
Right.
That's another thing. I'm not going to get into controversial shit in my interviews unless I'm told that's the point of it.
Right.
Like, if you want me to be Dan Rather and grill this bitch, I'd be more than happy to. But I'm not going to do it just to do it. I'm not doing this to make a name for myself. I like doing it. It's fun. Like, I have fun interviewing people, and I love talking to wrestling people. So it's just fun. Like, I'm having fun right now doing it.
That's awesome, man. Happy for you.
Thank you, Mike. So we're still waiting on Ed Prather's Gerbil on a Wheel internet. Way down with his graphics package.
Well, I mean, what he doesn't realize is he needs to stop streaming the porn that he's watching, and it will speed up the download.
It'll never happen. That man has got an edible in one hand and dick in the other hand. That's just how he rolls.
And 2 girls, 1 cup on his TV.
Oh God! You know, I have still never watched that.
Well, you shouldn't have told me that.
Why would you tell Kolb things?
I don't know. I had somebody try to. When I worked at the airplane manufacturers plant or airplane parts manufacturers plant I worked at before I worked at the steel mill. I had somebody I worked with at the mill that knew me very well. Actually, I became a pastor just to marry her, and I'm not religious, so figure that stuff out. But she literally was like, you go outside to on break because the weather's nice. You go outside and have a cigarette or whatever, and we're outside smoking, and she pulled it up, and I was like, I've never seen 2 ghosts, 1 cup. And she heard that, and for the next 10 minutes, she chased me around the parking lot with that behind me on her phone. I'm like, let's turn around and look at it. Just look at it. But I could hear it, and that was enough. Just hearing it was enough. Now,
TJ, you're old enough to maybe have experienced. Did you ever see Tub Girl back in the day?
Yes.
Okay.
She was what we would call the first internet sensation back in the day, Tub Girl.
Which is funny because Frank Bruno reenacts Tub Girl on a weekly basis.
Frank Bruno, do you rent a hotel room to do that, or do you do it in your own bath?
Frank Bruno right now is Googling what is Tub Girl.
Do not do that.
Okay, and if you're going to do it anyway, at least have yourself the decency to put an incognito on.
Why? He lives by himself. His mom doesn't check his computer anymore.
No, because you know what? It doesn't matter if you live by yourself or live with other people. You don't need that shit in your browser history. You don't need it. You just don't need it.
Frank's going to get to work on Monday, and his boss is going to call me up. So, Frank, you may have not realized that Saturday night you were back in the VPN, and we need to talk about your searches.
You were back in the VPN. Oh, phenomenal. This has been great. If this is how this show's going to be, I'm in.
Although, if I recall, when I told someone else about Tub Girl many moons ago, I believe there's an Urban Dictionary version without a picture. So there's a safe version somewhere.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah, it all sounds terrible. Terrible.
Hey, TJ, I need you to make an important decision for me. Totally off topic.
Okay.
I'm going to pick up food on the way home, and my options are Portillo's or Wendy's.
Portillo's.
I assumed as much.
Portillo's is the only answer in that area.
Here's why. And Mike knows the answer. I'm going to tell anyway for people who don't know what Portillo's is. So if you go to Wendy's, you have your 3 choices. You have your chicken, your burger, or your salads. Portillo's, there's a whole cornucopia, barbecue, hot dogs, burgers, chicken, like whatever you want. Literally almost anything you want. Onion rings, they can do it there. Portillo's is amazing.
And I couldn't have said it better myself.
Italian beef. Very good.
Beef. There you go.
Hey, how about you stop correcting me so much and finished downloading the graphics package so we can move on.
Well,
I'm just kidding, Ed. I love you.
As a person who does not have a Portillo's near them, I would still choose Portillo's over Wendy's because basically you can get a Wendy's anywhere. And knowing that Kolb travels, there's a Wendy's pretty much everywhere.
The Portillo's is a mile from my house.
Yes, it's.
No.
When we had our WrestleMania party this year, we had Portillo's. And
Oh, that's right. I catered in Portillo's. That's right.
Yes, I was not upset about it.
Portillo's catering. It's like things I didn't even know existed.
And then we did Mexican the next night.
I didn't show up for night 2. Why didn't I show up for night 2?
Because you're a bitch and you left. That charger you brought to my house is still sitting in that same outlet.
That's the best story still.
I think so. That was not this. Was it this past WrestleMania?
Yeah.
No, that was.
Yeah.
I know. So if it was this past one,
it was.
It's because I was still in the electrician's program. And I had to be.
Oh, right.
I had to drive an hour to class the next day, and I had to be up at like 5 a.m. my time.
Sounds like an excuse, but yeah,
it was. It totally was.
Because the year before wasn't at his house.
It was my house.
No, the year before was supposed to be night 1 at TJ's house, night 2 at my house.
Yeah.
Correct.
And then my wife decided to go into labor.
Yeah, his wife had to go and have a baby.
Yeah, I say it wasn't night 2 build a crib night.
Oh, the miracle of life over here.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that. I hope Dave did not pick this game on footballers.
I think he did, but I think he said Clemson was going to get rocked, so this would
really. Wow. College football is going to be in a weird spot after this week.
Football is fucking drunk, and like they go on a winning streak like for 3 weeks in a row, and I said, okay, like let's put the money behind it. We lost a combined, I don't know, $1,200 last weekend between the three of us.
I didn't gamble.
Well, I know you didn't, but I'm saying like at least between me and Dave, we lost at least 1,000. My money wasn't real money though, so I didn't feel as bad.
Is Timmy C's on footballers too, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Man, college football and Timmy C are both in weird places. They're like college football is kind of entering Timmy C territory in the way that it's living with its ex while trying to bang its lookalike with an Adam's apple.
Well, he doesn't live with his ex anymore, so
well,
that's what he's told you guys. See, it's not a lie if she lives with him. See, just saying.
For the record, I don't think she does.
I want to know. Don't want to know. We've said too much.
But I got a bone pick with James. Actually, all you guys. Not Mike.
I got a bone pick with James too.
Well, that sounds interesting.
Because a couple weeks ago, we were starting FFP. We were doing the intro. And I said, had you been listening to my upset picks, because I was 3-3 at the time in upset picks, you'd be making money.
It's true.
And you said, no. You're 500. Yes, that's true. But if you bet $5 in every game, you've lost $15, but you've gained however much the odds were.
Listen, I renege on that statement. You were correct. I can't even deny it.
By the way, 3-3 in upset picks is crazy. I literally went 1-1 every week.
Yeah, it's I don't know how you did it.
So here, Timmy, when his picks go bad, he likes to say football's a drunk. We're now on week 9? We're heading into. Football's not drunk anymore. This is just what it is.
No. Football's not drunk anymore. But here's the thing: is that I can't speak for Dave's picks in college because I'm not a
college football is impossible to pick right now.
College football for me has always been impossible to pick. But in the NFL, there are a lot of sane decisions that people have said. Tim, Dave, like some combination of that. I don't agree with all of Timmy's decisions, but there's a lot of them. I was like, I would have said the same thing. So I don't know what the fuck is going on this year. It's a mess.
Yeah.
Man, if you're the Bears, why are you trading for Chase Claypool? What are you going to do with that?
So here's how I look at it. As a Bears fan who was furious to wake up to find out Roquan Smith was not a Baltimore Raven. I found out the morning after because I was in bed already.
God, that
because I'm an old man and I have to go to bed at like 8, so I can be.
Well, you were going to work at like 5, so you'll get a break. You'll get a pass.
By the way, in 2 days I worked 26 and a half hours. So thank you, union.
All overtime, baby.
Yeah, all overtime. I don't give a shit. I'll be here all night, bitch. So we. What was I gonna say? What were we talking about?
Roquan Smith and
Roquan Smith. All right, so
Chase Claypool.
Here's what I take out of it. I didn't like what they got in return for Roquan Smith. I thought the lead draft pick was too low, even though we're getting AJ Klein, who's not great, but he's a good utility linebacker. He's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But I thought the lead pick, meaning the second round pick, should have been a late first and bump the second pick off entirely. We don't need it.
Correct.
But the Bears have never drafted in the first round worth of shit in my lifetime, ever. It's Greg Olsen is like the one I can think that was good. So, okay, fine.
And they still didn't get the most out of him.
Well, they traded him to Carolina when he was the one guy on the team that could catch.
And then he goes to Carolina and looks all worlds.
So I knew it at the time. I was like, son of a bitch. Like, he's the one that could catch. We had Mushi Muhammad at the time.
TJ.
Yes.
First round picks, you're going to ignore the gloriousness that is Rajan Salam and Curtis Enos.
Oh, I can go all day. Rashawn Salam, Curtis Enos, Cade McNown, left tackle Chris Williams.
Oh,
that stroke. Was Tommy Harris? I actually like Tommy Harris, but was he a first round pick? He just got injury plagued.
Yeah, that I don't know if Tommy Harris was first round. I don't think he was.
I thought so. But anyway, it's a long illustrious history. Actually, I think Roquan Smith was a first round pick now I think about it.
He was.
So
was Shea McClellan.
I actually like Shea McClellan.
And Cedric Benson.
He was okay for like 8 games. And then in Cincinnati he was better. But the Bears have just traditionally never drafted well in the first round. Second 2 through 4, they're electric. So they get the second round pick, and I think the other one was the 6th or 7th round pick. Well, then I'm like, cool, they got 2 second round picks. Excellent. We can still get 2 very good offensive linemen because we need those in the second round. Well, they trade one of the second round picks immediately for Claypool. They didn't trade the Ravens second round pick. They traded our second round pick for Claypool. And here's what I have to say about that. Initially, at first I was like, why? This doesn't even make sense. But now they have Darnell Mooney, who is not a lot of people know about him yet, but we're starting to see Fields come into his own because the coaching staff is actually actively trying to play to his strengths. So you're going to start hearing more about Darnell Mooney. He's going to be Fields' escape hatch a lot of the time in his, because you're going to see Fields run a whole lot more if last week shows anything. Claypool is going to be the steady presence on the other side. So what I see from them getting rid of, again, I still don't understand why they traded Roquan. I never will. But what I think the message they're trying to portray is by getting rid of a defensive player for AJ Klein, again, who's good, not awful, not great, and then getting Claypool was they're building around Fields on offense.
Well, it makes sense to get rid of Roquan in the sense of if you know you're not going to pay him
Correct.
What he wants, and I think the Bears recognize they didn't want to pay him what the franchise tag would be next year either, which is about $15 to $17 million.
Yep.
So it's like, let's get something for him. Cool. And this is how the Bears do things. They traded for a wide receiver who's got this year and next year on his contract. So they're just going to destroy his career, and then we'll get him on a bargain to resign him in 2 years because we'll destroy his career.
Or he'll go off, and then they'll trade him next year and say, "Look, we were all thinking about this a long time ago."
So I like. This is our last Bears moment, and then we'll Eddie's done now. So our last Bears chat. We'll move on.
Oh yeah.
So Ryan Poles is in his first year as general manager. They have a whole new administration now in Chicago, outside the ownership, which needs to change more than any of it. But Ryan Poles even though he's a new guy, he's not an idiot and understands that he has this year's a wash. Whatever he does this year, no one cares because the expectations weren't high to begin with. But next year is going to be the year. They have to go. You can't go 500 anymore. They have to go 8-9 at least to show that much improvement. If not 9, if not have a winning record. So if he's smart, the two biggest Achilles tendons the Bears have had the last 30 years I've been watching the team, offensive line and playmaking wide receivers. We haven't had either ever in my lifetime. Curtis Conway is the closest we've got, and Marcus Robinson.
Curtis Conway.
Like, if someone says, what about Jay Cutler and Brandon Marshall? You didn't watch him every game. Brandon Marshall actually hurt Jay Cutler more than he helped him because that's all Cutler would throw to was that goof. And he would throw, that's why he threw 6 picks a game. All right. With all that said, Eddie's done. Here's the proof. Everyone sees it. Eddie's done.
Well,
we are ready.
So both files are the database files.
Both files are the database file. That's not good.
I need more information to know that he's done.
So do you have the database and the pictures, the graphics, or do you have two databases? Because you have two databases. I'm very confused.
Plot twist, he downloaded the database twice.
That's where I'm going with this statement.
Well, Eddie, you might have to play this with no pictures and download that later after the show. Database and graphics. Okay, so Eddie's telling us he's got database and graphics, so we're ready to go.
All right, so we're good.
We're going to do this part over again. So we're going to go back to the left tab over here to database, the DB tab.
Yeah.
We're going to open that up. We're going to make sure 2004, whatever the name is for your 2004 database is selected. So it has a blue, I keep pointing at my screen like you can see it because I'm an idiot. So you have the blue dot here that says it's currently selected, but it's not finalized. So I have to go use this database to finalize it. So we're going to finalize it. Now I'm going to go to this wrench and screwdriver icon, which is the settings for the database. So there's my settings for the database. And here's the different companies. I can go to end of year awards. I can go to events. I can go to titles, injuries, Hall of Fame, companies, whatever I want to do. But the only thing we're worried about is to make sure my graphics package that's associated with the database is actually being used for the database. So we're going to go down to the bottom. All these tabs here. The second one from the left, database details. We're going to open that up. And we're going to go third option down, picture folder. And we're going to make sure and select the proper picture folder. Whatever you named your 2004 save pictures folder as, you want to make sure it's selected. So once you're done with that, also this is important too. I almost forgot this part. Down here at the bottom, see this big cluster of windows here? It says USA, Canada, Mexico, Japan. So it says all those should say random. All the territory should be open or active. But they should all say random, because what that is you have an economy level and you have a wrestling industry level. Both of those will rise and fall randomly. So when your wrestling industry level is rising, you'll get more people at your events. And when your economy is rising, you'll get more merchandise sales. And obviously the inverse as they fall. But you want to make sure it says import area settings from the database. You want to make sure. Oh. Wow. Never mind. Ignore that part. I don't know why I can't.
What happened?
I can't pick 2004. It says 98 or default. I'll just do 98. Whatever. So, but we got graphics. That's what matters. My game now, just because mine's different, that part was different. My game save is not going to be any different than yours. It's going to be the same. So we got all those items taken care of. We got a database. We got a graphics package. Everything's in play. So now we're going to go back to the home page. So this arrow button up here at the top. We're going to go back to the home page. So we're back to where we started. And now we're ready to start our game. So there's a plus icon here at the top left, right here. This plus icon is new game. So we're going to start a new game. And what it's doing right now, it's going to check through the database, make sure there's no faults in it. There's no incorrect data. There's no things that couldn't happen. So you see all these things up here, all these errors. It says it found. As long as they're white and not red, that's fine. If you get red errors, you can't start the game. It won't let you. So they call it critical fault. They're all white. So we're good. All these errors is essentially telling you these titles for these companies have been assigned, but the company hasn't started yet. It's all the same. So go ahead, or the company's ended, one or the other. So we're gonna go ahead and go to begin game, and we're ready. So now we're at the part where it says select your name, type your name in for your save game, and there's also the 8 flags underneath. So it's United States, Canada, Mexico, Japan, British Isles, Oceania, Europe, and India. We're gonna leave all those checked because those are all be all of the areas that are available to play in the game. So we're gonna leave all of those open or checked, and you can just name it whatever you want. So I'm gonna put I'm just gonna put TNA 04 for my save. Just found out my caps lock is on, which was weird. So I'm just gonna put TNA 04 as my save. You can put whatever you want, doesn't matter. So now we're going to go to start new game. So now again, it's doing the same thing. It's processing. It's putting all the wrestlers in their right places, putting all the companies in their right places, broadcasting deals. And if you thought like, oh, I'm getting ready to pick my guy and start, there's still so much we have to cover that you have to understand how to use before we just cut you loose how to play the game. So if you need a beverage, go get one. If you need a sandwich, go make one. This is going to be a minute. All right. All right, so we're ready. Game world has been created. It says creation complete, and you have this drop-down window. It says X amount of games. 1-player game. All of this, so this is how, because Mike and I thought about this. Essentially, we would have to go off the honor system with how we judge, how much money you made, how popular you are. So our save finale 6 months from now is we're all going to get together on a Zoom. So you can share your screen and show us. But I can't actually access your game. So just go ahead and put 1-player game. We're all going to do 1-player game. And now you're going to get the tutorial for the mods you pick. So this is all the intro for the January 2004 mod. It's called Ruthless Aggression. So you have Brock Lesnar, and all of us is WWE. Why? They're the only company around. Until you get to the end, it's TNA and Indies. So there's TNA, Jeff Jarrett, and there's the Indies. Samoa Joe. Do you have what it takes? So here we are. So now we're at the part you're going to pick who you're going to play as in this game.
Dennis Rodman.
You can play as Dennis Rodman. You're not going to. So you may be asking yourself, how am I supposed to play as Jeff Jarrett or Dixie Carter or the 2 wild cards when David Arquette, Dennis Rodman, Freddie Prinze Jr., and Trishelle Canatella, whoever that is who is that? American reality TV contestant, Playboy model, and actress. She was on Real World last night.
Oh, see, I was going to say Kolb probably knows her. That's
fine. He left. So what we're going to do here is you go down here to the bottom. You see search, avatars only, play as this character, user talents and preferences. So let me just go ahead and do this because you guys don't need to really see my face right now. So we're going to go down here to play, or I'm sorry, don't pick play as this character. Pick avatars only.
Okay.
This will now list everybody.
Whew.
So here's where it gets interesting. I've told you it's TNA 2004. Dixie Carter is not in charge of TNA. She doesn't own it. But we're leaving it as an option because obviously we know she's going to here in a very short time here after 04. Here's the 2 wild cards. So we got Jeff Jarrett, who was the legitimate owner of TNA at the time. You got Dixie Carter. Here's your 2 wild cards. You can play as any of the 4 I'm getting ready to list. Number 3, almost actually happened. You can play, we're going to let you play as Jerry Jarrett. Because again, that almost actually happened. The 4th one, this is the one I find the most interesting. So again, just so you guys know, it's all in alphabetical order. So if I scroll down a little bit, there's Jerry Jarrett, 61-year-old white American male non-wrestler. The other wild card. James, do you want to guess who the other wild card is?
Is it Principal Richard Pound? Because that would be outstanding.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know either, but that's what came up on mine.
So no. Come on, think TNA hierarchy.
All right.
Management, bookers.
Well, so it's
not Eric Bischoff.
So it's either going to be Vince Russo or Hulk Hogan.
Okay. It's one of those two. It is one of those two.
So I'm going to go Vince Russo.
It is Vince Russo. So you can play as Jeff or Jerry Jarrett, Dixie Carter, or Vince Russo. Before you go any farther, figure out who you want to be. And I'm going to remind you that the name you're going to pick is in name value only. Meaning, if you look over here on the right-hand side of the screen, like I got Jerry Jarrett up here, you see popularity right here. All these are red, except for Southeast is 44. Because he's Memphis. So the red numbers obviously are bad. He's not very popular, but in the Southeast he's super popular. Reminder, TNA is being broadcast out of the Southeast, Florida. So he'd be very popular in Florida. Why that matters is, as you're doing shows, if you have an issue getting higher name talent to your company, you can make Jerry Jarrett give promos on the show, and they'll go over well because he's popular with the fan base. More on that in a minute. So, but the person you're going to pick is essentially a name value only. There are obviously benefits to each one. Jerry Jarrett, as an example, see the skills window here. If you go down to the bottom of the skills window, business skill is a 90. Booking reputation, 80. Booking skill, 80. What does that mean? The majority of your ideas will at least get half-assed over, and your company, as long as you don't make stupid decisions, should make very subtle growth throughout your history, or even dynamic growth, depending on the decisions you make. So let's go look at Jeff. What does Jeff Jarrett got going on?
Jeff Jarrett's pretty similar, which is, I was going to say, if you look at the popularity, he's doing really well, popular across the globe. And
he's 36 years old. He's the NWA champion. And he's still very over.
Yeah.
So, again, here's the benefit of Jeff Jarrett. I can book Jeff Jarrett, as I'm playing as him, to wrestle on my card as the NWA World Champion, and it doesn't cost me a dime out of my money because I'm the owner. Cost me no money. So we go down here to the bottom. Business skill, 85. Booking reputation, 75. Booking skill, 75. Very similar to Jerry. So either one of those, outside of Jeff being the reigning NWA World Champion, they're in drop step. They're identical. What about old Dixie?
Oh boy, that one's great.
Let's go look at Dixie Carter. Disco Fury. Disco. So popularity, nothing. You want to know why she hasn't debuted yet on television in any capacity as a wrestling personality? So all this is 0, but her reputation's 100 for some weird reason. Charisma 40, microphone 43, acting 45, star quality 30, sex appeal 67. Now, mind you, as time goes on, if you continue to book someone to do something, that rating will go up. So even though, like say, just an example, her brawling rating is 0. If I kept booking her in matches, now granted, she's not a wrestler. If I look over here, it's not highlighted, it's just personality. But if she was a wrestler, even occasional, if I kept booking her in matches in wild brawls, which again, we'll get all this into this here in a bit, this eventually would go up because she's done it so many times. And you'll get notifications. This wrestler has gotten this much better at this attribute. So what's Dixie Carter's? What is the benefit? And if you see, she's the current TNA owner. That's why she's a choice. I didn't think she was actually the owner here in 04, but I was wrong. Business skill 70, but no booking skill. And you can actually play as a booker or an owner, but we're picking owner because then you just do everything. Vince Russo. What's old Vincey Roo up to these days? I believe, James, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe by 04, he'd already had a short run in TNA and ruined it and had come back.
Yes.
So he is unemployed. He's mildly popular. He's not terribly unpopular from his disastrous WCW run. He's just a personality.
Made a brief return in 2002 to WWE, but then quickly left and joined TNA and led the Sex Stable.
Yes. Oh, we actually covered that in one of the Filter Free podcasts. That era TNA is garbage. So we're actually after that. So what's Vince Russo's big thing? He's got 100 reputation, 85 charisma, 87 microphone, 86 acting. So again, you can book Vince Russo into angles, and more than likely it's going to get over with the audience. If we go down, he's a great color announcer, 86 rated color announcer. He's a terrible referee. Business skills 60, booking skill and booking reputation 55. So there are your choices: Jeff Jarrett, Jerry Jarrett, Dixie Carter, Vince Russo.
I feel like based on the choices, Vince Russo is the hardest of the four. Even though Dixie has a 0 rating in a lot of them, it's going to be dependent on what you choose. More so than it is what her rating is.
Well, another key thing to remember, let's say I wanted to pick Dixie Carter because her business skill is a 70. It's very high. It's probably one of the better ones in the game, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
But I want to play as her, but I'm not over. You don't need to be. You'll just never be on television. It's fine. Like, it's not a big deal. But if you say, just for the sake of fairness, if you say, I think Vince Russo is going to be the hardest one to play as, well, then by God, I'm going to play as Vince Russo. So here's what I'm going to do now. So I've figured out who I want to be. I'm going to be Vince Russo. Do not go to play as this character right away. Go to user talents directly next to it. So now you're going to get this window. Your negotiating skills, motivating, creativity, leadership, diplomacy, silver tongue. 0 out of 10s, all of them. Well, if you go down here, you have 30 points available to use, and you have this drop-down window of available things you want him to be, or what characteristics you want to have. What would you say? He was a chaotic genius, Vince Russo?
Yeah, that could be one.
And again, I don't have to pick that. I can pick whatever. Whatever I want him to be, I can pick it. I'm going to pick chaotic genius. Okay, and I'm going to pick apply template. So now all of my points are used. But if I look, my negotiating is trash at 2. Motivating is 7. It's pretty good. Creativity 10. Off the charts. I've never seen a 10 before. Leadership 1. I'm going to tell you right now, that ain't going to work. Just so you're aware. Diplomacy 3, silver tongue 7. So because this is me, and I want to be fairly well-rounded when I start this game. I don't want to have a profound weakness like no leadership. So I'm going to decrease my creativity. I'm going to take it down to 7. I'm going to take my silver tongue down to 6. My motivating down to 6. I'm going to bump negotiating up 1. And I'm going to spend the rest on leadership. So now I have negotiating 3, motivating 6, creativity 7, still high, leadership 5, diplomacy 3, silver tongue 6. Ed just asked, what does silver tongue mean? Silver tongue means essentially I can con people. I can talk you in to doing whatever. It doesn't come up that often, but essentially you don't have as many direct issues with talent backstage with creative, because you're gonna make some booking choices where, say, I want to, just as an example, because we're doing TNA 04, I want to put Abyss over Jeff Jarrett. But Jeff Jarrett's popularity is vastly over Abyss's. But I just really want to push Abyss. I want to make him the NWA World Champion. Jeff Jarrett ain't going to want to do it. He's going to tell you to piss up a rope. But that gap of popularity, how far that gap is, instead of being here, they're not going to do it. It might open up. If I won't job out to anyone 5 to 10 popularity points below me. Well, if I have a good silver tongue, that might open up to 15 points, 20 points, so on and so forth. Also comes in to negotiating tactics when you sign free agents. I know negotiating is on the top one. That's strictly like money value part of the contract, or handshake or exclusive written, or whatever the case is. Silver tongue is I can sign you and talk you out of not wanting to have creative control. Or I can talk you down on how much of the bonus you want on your pay-per-view, so stuff like that. So you want your silver tongue to be a little high. Now it doesn't need to be the most important thing. So now I got all this sparsed out. We're gonna go to save. So I've got the character I want. So now we're gonna go play as this character, and it's gonna say there are unused user characters in this database. Would you like them to be all removed from the game world? If not, you will still be given the opportunity to remove some. Click yes. Rodman and all of them we saw at the beginning of the game will be gone. So now we're at the screen. Please select the company you want to start with. So we're going to pick TNA, Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, right here.
Did the same thing you did too.
Did you pick Russo?
I picked Russo. I have different stats, but I clicked on the same thing you did when
yes.
you made that.
How much money did you start off with? Is it $2 million?
Oh God, no.
Okay, so this might be one thing I forgot to look into. Ed Prather, let me know.
Yes, $2 million. No, you're right. You're right.
Ed Prather, look up here in the top right hand corner and tell me how much money you have to start with.
I got $2 million.
It should be $2 million. There was something I forgot to check. But it should be $2 million. If it's $2 million, we're fine.
I have the same as you,
Mike. James and I are both Vince Russo.
Well, I have different stats for Vince Russo, but yes.
So who are you going to be?
$2 million. Okay, good.
All right, good. So we're all good. So you're gonna pick TNA, Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, and you're gonna go down here to play as owner. Are you sure you want to start with TNA? Yes.
There we go.
And continue. And now we're in the game, baby.
Start as unemployed.
We're ready to go. So that's if you want to start your own company. You start as unemployed. So, TNA shock. Vince Russo has become the new head of TNA last night, somehow managing to grab the reins of power in one lightning-fast move. Insiders and investors alike are said to be bewildered, with one leading analyst being heard to remark, "What the fuck just happened?" But it started out. So here's what we do now. So I need to get you familiar with both the roster, your company, and how to play the game, and what all you need to look for while you're playing. So let's go down here to this bottom set of buttons here, and we're going to go to roster, very top left. We're going to go to roster. So this is all who's on your roster right now in TNA. So you got Abyss. And there's like 90 people on her, so I'm not going to say all of them. But if I go to right here, TNA status, he's considered recognizable, because if I go over to his popularity, it's all the yellow numbers. They're all 37. So he's over, but he's like below mid card at that, just based on a rating level. He works heel. He's got a monster gimmick that the fans consider adequate. He has warm momentum. He wears a cell phone mask that has 0% prestige. So you'll only see that part if they wear a mask. It's like if I bet you if I found Rey Mysterio, his mask would be 100%. Normal morale. Spent 1 year at TNA. He's a member of Team Jarrett. So over here, I go to the skills. Brawling. He's okay. Not really good at pure Risu, which is Japanese style. Strong style. Hardcore, he's really good at. Technical, not so much. Aerial and flashiness is trash. Don't ever let him get off the top rope. But there's some really important characteristics to look forward to. So right here, right on reputation. So reputation is 100. But if I go charisma, microphone, acting, these three things are going to come into play when you book promos. Are those three things: charisma, microphone, acting. So if you book a promo, you can pick, depending on what kind of promo you type. If you pick a freestyle angle, again, we're going to get all. It's going to be a long show. We're going to get into all of this. You can pick what the wrestler that's in the promo is rated on or rated by. So you can pick charisma, microphone, acting, star quality, which is a 62, sex appeal, which is a 7, or menace, which is 87. So his menace is very good. If you know what menace means, thank Andre the Giant and the Heenan family, or Ultimate Warrior. All he did was yell at the camera. That's menace. But also down here, if you look, there's safety. 64 to 77. It's okay. It's very good, actually. You want to try to keep your safety. I'm sorry, 68 to 81. You want to try to keep their safety ratings up, because the lower the safety rating is, the more often they will hurt other wrestlers in the ring. So we want to try to keep that part up. And again, over here in the popularity, I can see, I can scroll down: Canada, Mexico, British Isles, Japan, Europe, Oceania. This is where his popularity level around the globe. And then also, before we move on, if I go here to this popularity window and I click this right arrow in the top, I can see his contract information. So he's on a handshake deal for $400 per show.
Jesus.
What that means is he's not working on a contract, he's working on a handshake. So at any given time, if I spend a lot of time and effort getting Abyss over as a main event talent, and I'm not paying attention, another company could come sign him. Now, if that happens, you will get a notification here in this window. This very last icon here, the last one with the @ sign, is your bulletins window, your mail viewer. You will get a notification that says so-and-so made an offer to Abyss. And you can click on it and look at the details of what they offered him. If it's a handshake deal, let him have it. As long as it doesn't interfere with your show, let him sign a handshake deal. It's fine, because all he's going to get is more experience. Like, get himself more over. That's fine. If it's an exclusive written contract and it goes through, you're not going to have him anymore. He's going to get signed away. So you're going to have to counter offer that, which again, we're going to get into all that as we go. So the next most important thing we have to cover is the product. What kind of wrestling product are we going to provide the people of Spike TV, which I believe we're on? I don't know. We'll find out. So this is what kind of wrestling we're going to offer. So with TNA style, their core product is no style. I don't know what that means. I have never seen that before. So just for fun, because I don't know how to explain it, we're gonna go to change product base, and we're just gonna kind of navigate.
Oh, it actually makes sense when you go to that absurdist entertainment.
No, that's what you can change it to.
Oh, because that would be hilarious.
So if I open this drop down window, I bet you that's one of the choices. It isn't. So I really don't know what's happening right now. So no style is our core product, or core product, and our current product. So our current product is nothing, because I don't know what's happening. So we have anti-establishment hardcore, we have campy fun, we have classic lucha libre, we have Crash TV, which is WCW 2000-2001, episodic hardcore or episodic sport, extreme hardcore, faux MMA. You get the idea. Everything under the sun. There's Memphis Wrestling's on here, or Southern Wrestling's on here, PG-rated sports entertainment, so on and so forth. Now I'm gonna pick. You be a goof not to pick something for this. So I'm gonna pick the product I want my TNA to be. So let's see. Extreme adult filth. There'll be nudity on your show, but you can't see it. So Ed, don't even worry about that one.
Territory wrestling.
Territory wrestling is one of them. Ruthless aggression's on here. So I'm going to do, I think Attitude Era Entertainment's on here too.
Attitude Entertainment. Yep.
There you go. So I'm going to do to me, the one I have the most luck booking on this show is I do Classic Sports Entertainment. So this is WWE 1980s, 1990. So
Crash TV, baby. Let's do it.
Oh, Lord. So if I go over here, I will see fan expectations of the show. So events, so your pay-per-views will be 80% matches and 20% angles. That's what they expect. If it goes too far above or too far below those numbers, they will not like the show because there'll be too much or too little of one thing. TV shows, so your TV tapings, 65% matches, 35% angles. Again, this is just mine. Yours are going to be different.
40% matches and 60% angles in Crash TV.
That's why I'm not picking it. I can't do that many angles.
It's a lot.
Fans will be upset by dangerous, controversial, or bloody matches. So what was this telling you? This is the book of what you can do. These are the guidelines, what you can book, what your wheelhouse is going to be, and also what you can you can't book. The crowd will turn against it if you book it. Like me, I can't do hardcore matches. My crowd will turn against it. So once I pick the one I want, I'm gonna click make change. So now it'll say down here at the bottom, a change is currently underway to alter the product to become Classic Sports Entertainment. Whatever yours is going to say. The change is due to complete in 3 months. So it's going to take 3 months to make the transition. Depending on how similar what you pick is to your current product, lessens the time. So if I would have picked Extreme Adult Filth, the last one, that's XPW. So if I was going to make my wrestling just surrounded by porn stars and nonsense, it'd probably take a long time for me to get to that. And I'd also probably lose broadcasting partners along the way. So we got our things picked. You got weight split, face heel divide, stables, managers. You can do your Bill Watts rules is what I call these. And they all suck, so I'm not going to pick any of them. So I'm just going to pick save. So now I got my product picked. So now we're going to go to titles. The only title I have is the TNA X Division title. James, why is that?
Because they only have the TNA, the NWA World Title.
Correct. So if I go down here, over here on the right, left-hand side, there's all these buttons here. There's one that looks like a toolbox. I'm going to open that up. And now I'm going to go over here to Alliances. On the external, on the bottom right-hand side, it says External Alliances. We're still in the NWA. So you have Canada Wrestling Alliance, Championship Wrestling from Florida, Cyberspace Wrestling Federation, wherever that is, so on and so forth. If I look at View Alliance titles, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion is Jeff Jarrett. There is no TNA World title. There are ways around that. I can resign from the alliance. I'm not saying to do that or don't do that. I don't know yet, but I can resign from the alliance. So I can just become independent. Or I can go to right here, titles, in the bottom, again, the bottom 2 rows of buttons, the fourth one on the top, titles. I can create my own title. I can have my own World Heavyweight. I can have a TNA World title. I can have a TNA Tag title. I bet you have the NWA Tag titles too. I can have a TNA Women's title if I want. Whatever I want to do. But if I go to create title, I actually don't. If I go to search over here in the left corner, you'll see belt type, belt level, status. Status says active. I'm going to change that to any status and do search. And it's still just the X Division. Because up to this point, the only TNA title that's existed is the X Division title. So again, what you want to do with this belt situation is this is one of the ones you got to figure out. Do I want to drop out of the alliance and make my own titles? You got to figure out how you want to do that. What titles do I want to bring back? What titles do I want to have? What new titles do I want to introduce? You can make up your own titles. Do whatever you want. Now, mind you, all of your titles have look right under here under the belt, the picture of the belt. They have their own prestige level. So the higher or level the prestige level, obviously the higher or lower the amount of care your fans put into that title. So if you make a TNA World Welterweight Television 8 other name title, but no one worth the shit ever wrestles for it, your prestige is going to be like 10, and no one's going to care about the belt. It'll never draw ratings. So you can use the belt as a way to elevate people. You can use the belt as a way to elevate segments of a show, so on and so forth, as long as you manage it properly. You don't want to have people just upsetting people nonstop, because the prestige will drop off the earth, because number of defenses is also tracked in length of reign. And if you shorten, less reign length and less defenses, the prestige goes down. So it's a well balanced. You got to figure out the balance of how to do all that. So that's one thing you have to figure out. So let's go to teams. This is going to be a list of all the tag teams I have in my company. So I've got 3 live crew, 2, 1, and 3. I've got America's Most Wanted, Chris Harris and James Storm. I've got the Black Shirt Security, Rick Santel and Chris Vaughn. I don't know who either one of them are. So if it, again, my game, I'm probably going to just get rid of that team. I don't know who they are. Diamond and Swinger, Simon Diamond and Johnny Swinger. Disciples of the New Church. I've got Disco Inferno and David Young. Yes, Glenn Gilberti is in your company. Raven and Hardcore Hack, or Sandman. Red Shirt Security. Don't know who this is either. Samoan Connection. Sonny Siaki and ECMO, a.k.a. Shit, I just blanked his name. What the hell was his name in WWE? I know he was Rosie, but shit.
Talk about Umaga?
Thank you, Umaga. Thank you, Mike. Michael the save. The Gathering, CM Punk and Julio De Niro. You got Michael Shane and Shane Douglas. If they're not the Shanes, I don't know the new franchise. This should just be the Shanes. TNA Cage Girls. Triple X. And Triple X spelled out, and Triple X is 3 letters. What is that? So there's all my teams. I can add new teams, or I can search new teams, and again change active only to any type. And I have more tag teams. But then now, if I go to Amazing Phenomenon, which is AJ Styles and Amazing Red, if I go to type, it says inactive unit. So it's a tag team in the company, but they're not active right now. I can change that. Yeah, this is all things you're gonna have to figure out. So let's go out of teams. Let's go to stables. So this is going to list all the stables we've got. We got 3 live crew. Again, I don't know what the security shit is. Don Harris is the leader. I'm definitely getting rid of that. You can do whatever you want. Team Jarrett, which has 39 people in it. David Young, Glenn Gilberti, Johnny Swinger, Kevin Northcutt, Kid Cash, Legend, Simon Diamond, Abyss, and Don Callis. And of course, Jeff Jarrett. That's a lot of people. There's probably too many people. The New Church, good old James Mitchell, and the new franchise, Michael Shane, Shane Douglas, and Tracy. So there's my stables. Again, I can go to search, status, inactive. There's your one that's inactive. Triple X, Christopher Daniels, Elix Skipper, and Low-Key. So let's go to creative. This is going to list a bunch of stuff. It's going to seem innocuous in the moment. Why is this even here? Why does this exist? If you use this properly, utilize this properly, you can really get people over a lot faster than you think, because they have franchise players. So these are the guys that are already wildly over with the audience. This is Sting, Roddy Piper, and Jeff Jarrett. To the surprise of no one, it's these 3. Next big things: AJ Styles, CM Punk, Michael Shane, Shark Boy. So what does this mean? Next big things. We'll just read up here. Next big things are the wrestlers who are likely to be the future superstars of TNA, the icons around whom the entire company is built. They should be handled with care, meaning don't have them lose too much. Below is a list showing who amongst the current roster the creative team think they have the potential to not just be a star, but to carry the company. So these 4 guys they picked out, I'd baby them if I was you. Again, don't push them straight to the top, but you got to find the balance. Hot prospects, same thing. Read the top. Stars of the future. Not necessarily main eventers, but they're going to be solid guys to have on the card. Talk the talk. These are your best talkers you have on the roster. Roddy Piper, again, it's Prize of No One. Sting, Dusty Rhodes, Raven, Brian James. Showstoppers. Guys who elevate their game when you need them to. Ring generals. Who's hot? Who's not? And hidden gems. So hidden gems is just guys that are floating around that you don't have signed, but you need to keep an eye on. You got Samoa Joe here, Silas Young, Steve Corino, Just Incredible, and Joker. Just something to keep your eye out. Again, you want to keep coming back to this hidden gems and see who's here. Again, personal note, if you don't sign Samoa Joe, which I think we might have him part-time. We do not. He's not on the roster. So if you don't sign Samoa Joe, I mean, what are you doing? So let's go to announcers. So these are the announcers I have assigned for my events. So these are my pay-per-view events. I've got Mike Tenay, who's got a pretty good announcing rating, 6674, and Don West, who's got a very good color rating. So it's a good team. Very well mixed team. If I go to TV, TNA Explosion, it's the same thing. It's not going to change. You can assign different announcers to different shows. So I can pick only show announcers and color commentators below. I can check the box. I can add a third guy. I can replace Don West. I can replace Mike Tenay and put in Scott Hudson. I'm not going to, but I could. Why would you replace Mike Tenay? That would just be silly. So we're going to go to chemistry. Nothing's going to show up. So chemistry, as people work matches and you find out they have bad chemistry in the ring, either as opponents or as a team, it'll show up in this window. Or if they have excellent chemistry as opponents or teammates. Finance. This is your money. How much money you make in pay-per-view revenue, ticket sales, broadcast revenue, sponsors, merchandise, alliance, blah, blah, blah. How much money you're spending on worker cost, show costs, marketing, merchandise, production, media. Again, very fine balance. You need to figure out your balance, how to make this work. Contracts. This is your list of contracts of who's on the roster, who's under contract. So the first thing I would do is I would go over here to contract on the top part. I would sort it out by that. I've only got 5 guys on exclusive written contracts. Dixie Carter, Don West, Dutch Mantell, Jeff Jarrett, and Mike Tenay. Sting is on a written contract, but a written contract means if he gets hired or signs a deal with another company, that's not exclusive written, but written or below. Let me rephrase that, because there's also an exclusive handshake. So it's got to, if written and handshake, you're not assigned to one team. But what a written contract means is, say he gets hired by Border City Wrestling for whatever reason. If they have a show the same night that I have a show, Sting's going to come to my show because I have him written. He's going to make more money, so on and so forth. He has loyalty to me because he's written. All the rest of these are handshakes, so it's up for grabs. You have how much they're making. So right now, Sting is making $143,800 a month, more than 5 times or 4 times the level of Jeff Jarrett, which is number 2. Again, this is one of those things. His contract expires in 3 months. So by the next time we do a show, his contract would have expired. So one of the things you're going to have to figure out, is he worth the money to keep, or should I just let him go? Because I'm not making my money back on that investment. Some of the things you're going to have to figure out. Let's go to events and TV. So all these in the red are going to be eventual pay-per-views that TNA are going to do that haven't happened yet. So they're dormant. Slammiversary's on here. No Surrender. Bound for Glory. All these will eventually happen. They haven't happened yet. So they're what do they call that? They're dormant. The only 2 active ones are TNA Explosion and TNA on pay-per-view. So we have those two actors. We have a weekly pay-per-view, and we have our TV show. Now, our TV show is a B TV show, which means if you sign a wrestler to a contract, which a lot of the older, higher talent, higher popularity guys are going to do, they're going to tell you, my body's breaking down. I don't want to work every show. I just want to do events and A shows. So if you sign someone to an A show contract, they will never show up on your B show, ever. Which may not be a bad thing, but it just won't happen. So it's another thing you have to keep in mind. See what my wife wanted. Oh, good. Next, let's go to size. So this is my popularity level across the United States. All 45s, but my Southeast rating is 59. Because again, they were broadcast out of Universal Studios mostly. I mean, now they are. It wasn't the Tennessee Fairgrounds and everywhere else. So 59, which means if I look here at current size medium, achieve 59 popularity in your home region of the Southeast, plus 35 in either Great Lakes, Mid-Atlantic, or Mid-South. We're all 45s across the board. So this is good and it's bad. It's good because you're going to have a lot more benefits, things you can get on a discount, things you can get, period. But I mean, a medium-sized company. The bad part is if you have two or three shows that are rated below this 59 number, you're going to drop below 59, you're going to go to 58, and now you're small. And your company cannot grow for several months. It's what they call shock mode. And it'll let you know that you're in shock mode, but you won't be able to grow at all. So it's very important that you figure out how to book your shows quickly because you have no room. Again, this is another reason why we picked this year, this company. You're going to figure out how to play this game real quick. So let's go to backstage. This is your backstage morale. So right now, my backstage rating is currently 90%. It's pretty good. Notable other factors, the backstage rules are having a negative effect on morale. So back down at the bottom here, I have all these check boxes I can select. These are the locker room rules. How I choose these rules will affect the dynamic of the locker room and the morale. You can do with that what you want. Notable relationships. A lot of strong friendships here. But the two negative ones, AJ Styles and Kid Cash don't like each other. Roddy Piper and Vince Russo don't like each other. That is legit. So, also, notable personalities. You have Don Harris, Glenn Gilberti, Jeff Jarrett, Julio De Niro, Conan, Legend, Low Key, Raven, Roddy Piper, Scott Hudson, Slash, and the Sandman all have a mildly negative influence, with the exception of Jeff Jarrett and Raven are very negative. And again, if your backstage locker room rating gets too low, people will leave the company over it. Especially if they're on handshake deals. They'll just say, I'm not coming back anymore. I'm out. So this is, again, you need to balance this. How do I balance my locker room morale with guys that have a bad influence, but they're over? I need to use them. How do I maintain that balance? Here's one way you can figure out who is doing what. You can go to roster. Again, here's my roster of everyone in the company. I can go to search. I get all these options. I've got gender, I've got status, nationality, race, style, speaks, has attribute, it's personality attribute. If I go all the way, there should be one called backstage. Right here, backstage, any. I can go to negative influence, positive influence, not negative, and negative. So if I go to negative influence, these are all the guys that are going to give me problems. And all I have to do is go down the list, look how over they are, but also see what roles they can play. Because again, if they're a Swiss Army knife like Disco Inferno is, he might be worth keeping. If he can do something that someone else can't do on my roster. And I'm just going to go down the roster and I'm going to figure out whether or not that person is worth keeping around. Because again, bad backstage influence is not good. It can get out of hand. You have one bad show, and you will see the backstage morale tank. Another thing to keep your eye on. So now if I go, we're back at this toolbox window where we started. That's going to tell you we need 26 active wrestlers to avoid being penalized for looking amateurish. We have 39. And then it's going to tell you all these people are managers without clients, don't have defined roles. I've got 4 red items here. So it says you are currently below the broadcast quality required to broadcast on Cablevision. Same thing on Izzy. Same thing on Omni Communications. It also says your production department currently has warnings regarding potential penalties. So this is what we're going to do now. We're going to go to broadcasting right here. We're going to click on it. And these are all my options that I have for my TV shows and for my events, my pay-per-view streaming. And I can see right here it's red. They're not interested in negotiating with TNA as you don't pass all the requirements. Well, I have a contract with them in 6 months. For 6 months. But if I don't correct this in 6 months, they won't resign. They might even drop me beforehand. So let's click on the red and see why. Minimum broadcast quality is in-house. Okay, what does that mean? Well, let's look at the rest of them first. Let's go to Izzy. Izzy is Cablevision. So Cablevision's is North American, United States, Puerto Rico, and Hawaii. Izzy, this is Mexico. Mexico broadcast cable-based pay-per-view. Broadcast quality is in-house, so same thing, but also says do not meet the minimum popularity requirements. Well, your minimum popularity requirement is we have to have 25 popularity in 2 regions of Mexico, not the United States, in Mexico. So do we have 2 regions in Mexico at 25% popularity? So I go back to size, and I'll scroll down to Mexico. No, we don't. We're all 20s. So back to the broadcasting, I have 6 months for this deal expires. I have to get my Mexico rating up to 25. If I get 2 ratings up in the 25 in Mexico, I'm good. Plus my broadcast quality, which we'll get to in a minute. SaskTel, this is Canada. They're in the red. See what they have. We do not meet the minimum popularity requirements in there. So that's 30 popularity in 2 regions of Canada. Probably don't have that. Omni Communications is Europe. Europe. Or UK. And theirs is broadcast quality is higher pro. So this one's actually higher than the rest of them. So this is what we need to do now. We're going to try to make these people happy. So we got US syndication. I'm just going to tell you right now, syndication, you're not going to make any money with this TV deal. So let's get used to that now. But you're on a B TV show. Remember, TNA Explosion's a B TV show. Your B TV show is on these 2 networks. So there is literally no expectation for the show. You can bomb every show. As long as it gets a rating above 5, they're going to be happy. It's very hard to do a match or a card rating of below 5. I don't even know if I've seen it yet. So now we need to fix our broadcasting stuff here. So if I go back to this bottom set of buttons here, we're going to go to broadcasting. We're going to open that up. I'm sorry. I lied to you. We're going to go over here to business management back on the toolbox screen. We're going to go to production, which is, I don't see it. Right here. In between owner goals and promises. It's production. We're going to open that up. So if you notice, all these are in the red. This doesn't mean it's not necessarily at the proper requirement for a broadcaster. What it means is if I go down here to view rival levels, I'm a rival to all these companies. It's below what they're doing. So all these companies that have red broadcasting markers, they're operating at a production value higher than what I'm doing. That's all that means. Could be a bad thing, or it's not a good thing, definitely. But the only way it's bad is if you're so far below them, it will actually affect how popular your shows will be because you look so amateur compared to the other ones. How I know what my broadcasting level needs to be for every company, broadcasting company, where it's at, is if I go over here, Cablevision is highlighted right now. I can see minimum broadcast quality is in the red. It's in-house. So if I go to minimum broadcast quality, which is over here, semi-pro, if I go to upgrade, it says the upgrade is free. And once upgraded, your cost will be $2,500 per show. And it'll also give you information on what the upgrade is. So we're going to upgrade to Hired Pro. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to upgrade to Hired Pro. It's still in the red. And it's also still in the red for Cablevision. So let's go ahead and upgrade it one more time. We're going to go up to in-house. So the upgrade is going to involve a fee of $10,000. And it's going to be a cost of $7,500 a month to run this broadcast quality to in-house. I'm going to click yes. So now we're in the white here, and we're in the white up here. Izzy, we're good. Omni, we're good. SaskTel, we're good. Sunshine, Syndication, we're all good. So everyone's happy now, with the exception of your popularity requirements in Mexico and Canada. So that's something you're going to have to work on as the time progresses through the game. So now all of those three production warnings I had for the TV stations are gone, but I still have one here that says my production department currently has warnings regarding potential penalties. What that means is I'm still operating in production levels lower than my competition, and I could be perceived as amateurish if I continue. So let's go back to production. And these three are still in the red. If I go to view rival levels, it's 3PW, it's IWAMS, it's MLW, OVW, PWG, and WWC. So you have two options. You can either catch up to these companies, or you can just leave it. And here's why I say that. Me personally, I might update my production values because, again, if I update it, the upgrade fee itself is small. Plus, it's $7,500 a month plus $2,000 a show. I'm only running a pay-per-view and a BTV show every week. So the per show, it's going to be $16,000 a month per show, or $60,000 a month in total for my TV, and $7,500 a month. So it's going to be $24,000, which is going to be a lot of money. You'll find out to do that. But what I'm going to do is something I can do. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to run a month. I'm going to run a month of my save game here. And then I'm going to check back. I'm going to go to this left-hand column. And there's a button right under the toolbox. It's got 3 skyscrapers on it. Go ahead and click on that. This is a list of all the companies that are active in the game right now. And I'm going to go down here to search. And I'm going to go to location. I'm going to go to USA. And all those companies, I'm going to write them down. All those companies that are operating a level above me in my production, I'm going to look and see how much money they have. Just scroll down, look. And I can actually click on their dollar amount and see if they made money or lost money. And if they did, where'd they lose it at? It very well might be production. If they're spending more on production than they're drawing, why would I upgrade it and do the same thing? Yeah, it's a balance. That's what I'm going to do. You can, if you upgrade it all out of the gate and be caught up, your show ratings will be higher, but you're going to spend a substantial amount more of money. And maybe you don't have the star power to compete. Maybe there's some guys in your locker room you have to get rid of. There's some guys you want to add to the locker room, some stars that are just kind of floating around right now. I can use them to get my younger talent over. How would I do that? Oh, funny you ask. If we go over here, right on the skyscrapers, you got 2 guys grappling. It's called Workers tab. We're going to click on that. This is every worker in the game. This includes wrestler, occasional, manager, referee, announcer, color announcer, personality, and road agent. So you're going to need a fair share of amount of road agents for obvious reasons. They're the ones that put your promos and matches together. And if you don't have enough road agents for the amount of segments you're running, it will tell you you're making one guy too much, and you'll have to find another road agent. So, again, it's maintaining your backstage chemistry is important. And right here is your backstage option of positive influence, not negative and negative. So I'm just going to do works for any. We're going to change the role to wrestler. Can work in the USA because where my company's based. And that's all we're going to do for right now. That's all we're going to change. And we're going to go to search. We're going to see who's out there, who's available. 2 Cold Scorpio, 38 years old. But he's signed under Noah, but it's only a handshake deal, so I can sign him. I can negotiate and I can sign him. 2 Tough Tony. I don't know who that is, but he's available. Got on 2 handshake deals. Actually, let's do this. So I don't have to look at every schmuck on here. I'm going to change my minimum popularity to 30. Actually, just for examples, I'm going to change it to 50 in the USA. Now I'm going to search it. Now I got Edge, exclusive written WWE, can't sign him. AJ Styles, I've already got him. Amy Dumas, exclusive written WWE. Andrew Martin, a.k.a. Test, exclusive written WWE. Brian James, I got him. Bill Goldberg, Bob Holly, Booker T, Bradshaw, Brock Lesnar, Brother Devon, Brother Ray. It's kind of weird they're listed as that in WWE, but that's fine. Carlos Colon, Charlie Haas, Chavo Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, they're all exclusive written. So you get the point. But what you need to find the one guy. Diamond Dallas Page, currently unemployed. Ratings, United States, all 71. Canada, all 71. Mexico, 65. British Isles, 65. Japan, 65. The man's over across the globe. I can use him to boost up my popularity in other countries. And he's listed as a wrestler. But say I wanted to be, but it does, look right here. It does say out injured, damaged neck. So say I want to sign him and I want to use his popularity, but I don't want to wait till his neck is healed. I can go to view profile. I can go to talk to worker. And I can go to, let's go career. And I can ask him, I want to make you active as an occasional wrestler, referee, announcer, color commentator, manager, on-screen personality, or road agent. And I can ask him, I want you to do one of these things. And he's going to say yes or no. So I can assign him to be a wrestler and a road agent. And when he comes back, he's still going to be a road agent. Or I can sign him to be a wrestler and a color commentator. And when he comes back, I can take him out of the booth and put him back in the ring. So there's a lot of options there with DDP. So we got one guy. We got DDP. Eddie Guerrero. Hulk Hogan. Unsigned. But out injured, knee ligament damage. And look at his rating. 96. It's 50. The man's over. I want to sign him, negotiate. Oh, he rejected me because our company's too small. This is another thing. We're not over enough to negotiate with a man the stature of Hulk Hogan. It's not terribly outside the realm of possibility. Miss Jackie, Jake Roberts. We can sign Jake Roberts on a handshake, or because he's on a handshake deal with the ASW. Jeff Hardy is unemployed. I think this is one of his sabbaticals from the WWE. China. Josh Barnett. Jushin Thunder Liger. Good luck getting him. I've never been able to sign him for some reason. Ken Shamrock. Kevin Nash. Lex Luger. You get the idea. So all these guys are here I can utilize to get my other talent over. But like, you see Kevin Nash here. I'm going to use him as an example because I know this is the case. If I go to search, I go to backstage, and I don't even go positive. I just go not negative influence. And I do search. It goes from Jushin Thunder Liger to Kaijimoto. Kevin Nash is gone. He's not around anymore. He goes to Kenta Kobashi, Billy Gunn, Kurt Angle, Undertaker, Mark Henry, so on and so forth. Matt Hardy, Mick Foley, the Giant or Big Show. You get the idea. Rhino, Rob Van Dam. Probably no one else for me to. Everyone else probably nabbed up. Oh, Vader. Vader's available. So all those things you have to keep in mind. Again, if I were to hire a Kevin Nash, who we now know is a negative influence on this game, if I sign him, I remember I signed him and I signed Sean Waltman and I signed Scott Hall. So essentially I have the band, which actually happened in TNA. I had the band back in the company. They turned the whole locker room against Chris Gandito and somebody else. And it just destroyed backstage morale. So it's a guessing game. You have to have a lot of positive influencers to have those three guys in the company. But again, that's what you have to figure out what you want to do. If you want to have them and just say to hell with backstage morale, I'm making money, then whatever. It's what you decided to do. So probably one last thing we need to look at. If you go to events and TV, one thing I forgot to tell you up here, it'll tell you what days they are both held and shown. So they're every Wednesday. They're shown on Saturdays. The pay-per-views are held on Wednesdays, and I believe they're always live. Pay-per-views are always live, so it's taped and shown on Wednesday. So if I go to storylines, these are the storylines they give you to start with because these were actually happening in the show. Glenn Gilberti between a rock and a hard place, Raven versus the Gathering, and you have Team Watts versus Team Jarrett. And you may be asking yourself, who the hell is the leader of Team Watts? There's no Watts in wrestling in 2004. Incorrect. If I do, go to my roster and I reset the search items. Wouldn't you know it, there's Eric Watts. For some reason, Eric Watts is here. He's not over at all, and he's in charge of his stable. I don't know why. So it's going to be on you from here on to create your storylines, to sign your talent, to get rid of talent, to figure out what you want to do with the NWA, if anything. Do I want to make my own belts? I can work out my own broadcasting deals. Because one thing I forgot to show you about broadcasting deals, even though I have these for my pay-per-views and for my TV shows, I can go to view all broadcasters, go down here. So this is all the broadcasters in the game across the globe. If I go down here to search, I can change will negotiate to yes. And these are now all the ones that will negotiate with me right now. There's a lot. So you got to make broadcasting deals. You got to make pay-per-view deals. You have to keep your popularity up by using angles, matches, things like that. Got to keep your backstage morale up by changing the rules, signing certain people, letting go of people. This is all on you now. So here's what we're going to do. In 2 weeks' time, so Saturday, November the 19th, we're going to come back, same time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern or Central Standard Time. And we are going to be, let me make sure I have this right. I believe it's 3 months. We will be 3 months ahead. So we will be in Monday, week 1, April 2004, when we come back here on the 19th. And it's not going to be just me and Mike. All of us who are playing will be involved, and we're going to go over what we've done, the stables we've created, the storylines we've made, who are my champions, how I handle my alliances. This is what I've done, my broadcasting deals, so on and so forth. See how we're progressing through the game. We got 2 years to cover. So when we're done, it's going to be week 1, January 2006, when this game save is over. At which point we will, Mike and I, and probably some other judges, we'll come up with a winner, and we're going to move right on to the next one, which we haven't decided yet because we got a ways away to go there. So start tinkering with the game, have fun, and on the 19th, be at week 1, April 2004. And let's just see what you can do. We always say, oh, I could have booked that better. Time to put your money where your mouth is. We're going to find out right here on Wrestling Rewrite. Think you can do better.